Well, here we go on part 2 of the Arizona GTX. And what we're going to be doing today is, first of all, this 383 we've established is not staying in here, so it's got to go. And we'll be able to, maybe in this video, clean up the engine bay, as well as maybe clean up the 440 over there for this. Might dig into working on some of that, maybe not. We'll see how things go. But yeah, so quick little update on a few little things that have happened since you've seen it last. Not much really, other than a little bit more cleanup here and there. I got my paintless dent removal stuff out a little bit. I didn't get to film any of that because it was slow, tedious work and it didn't really turn out quite the way I wanted it to. But this door used to be caved in pretty good there, so got that out. That was a big thing, so happy with that. Got a couple little dents popped a little bit better. It's been a whole lot of just little movement. So obviously this is still very much a problem. But like, I did some pulling in this area here. This body line was probably an inch in from where it was. And we still may do some more because honestly it looks a lot better on camera than in person. It's pretty bad, but overall, it is what it is. I'm gonna get in here. I have to undo that homemade makeshift shifter, and then we are ready to pull this out. And I realize I probably should have remembered to do the shifter first, because under here right now it is just kind of dangling down. I should also probably pull the drive shaft, but if I pull the transmission and everything forward, the drive shaft will just fall out, so that will not be a big deal. These manifolds are off and loose, so once this gets kind of lifted up and forward a little bit, I'll be able to push them aside or pull them out or whatever fits. So that being said, I'm gonna get underneath there, fix that shift linkage that I forgot to unhook, and then I will set up a time lapse of pulling this thing out of there. So I will see you guys in just a moment. Well, that was a little more of a challenge than I anticipated, because fighting with the hood undid the front bolts so then it can kind of hinge up more. It all worked out. Nothing really got beat up or damaged. Definitely not one of my cleaner engine removals, I guess, but yeah, it all worked out reasonably well. Then there's the manifolds. Everything's still sitting in here. This K-member is really greasy and dirty, so we're gonna get this car outside and pressure washed and cleaned up. There's that transmission cross member in there. I'm gonna try to clean that up too. Might shoot a little black paint on that, but we'll see what happens. Next step from here, I mean, we could take a look at this. It was, it's just a 68 383, nothing real special about it, but it's a very good complete engine for the most part from the way it looks. And it does turn over. I cranked it over by hand, so glad to see that it's a good core. It's not something that's stuck and the cylinder walls are pitted beyond belief. I mean, I guess they still could be, but I doubt it, considering it turns over pretty nice. But yeah, it came out on this linkage. Well, that's a coat hanger, but otherwise, that linkage is good. Might end up using a few odds and ends off of this to put the 440 back on. Like, I might end up taking that 2-groove pulley off as opposed to the 4-groove air conditioning unit over here. So that'll get all swapped around. We'll get a bunch of stuff figured out on this hopefully soon. But yeah, next we're gonna well, What you'll see next, I don't know, but we're gonna either get this thing outside and pressure wash it, or get that out and pressure wash it, or we're gonna get something done. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Well, I got to circle back around a little bit here before we get ahead of ourselves, and that's kind of what I did. Is I kind of got ahead of myself on this a little bit. We're gonna have to kind of cut it short here, and this will kind of be the end of this video. So appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we got to do a little bit of waiting, unfortunately, just simply because of parts. You know, I could clean that up and do a couple things to it and throw it in there right now, but I need to fix the floor in the car before I put a transmission that likely has a little bit of fluid underneath, you know, in the way of grinding welds, and right next to, you know, welding and grinding welds when it's very flammable. So we're gonna hold off on that for right now, as well as where they put that custom shifter situation in here. They if I can open this door, they screwed up the original pivot point area for the console shift situation in here. You can kind of see that kind of radius arch there. That's supposed to be a whole entire circle, and they cut most of it out, so it's really a bit of a issue. I'm gonna need to fix this side of the floor and that side of the floor, but we're also contemplating just doing a whole entire front half floor. So let me know in the comments what you think you would do in that situation. I think if we did a whole floor in the car, it would help the, you know, help the value of the car, as well as you've got a good clean structure for, you know, the whole entire cabin area would be nice and clean. And then if we went that far, we could maybe even do carpet in it, but we'll just see what happens. Let me know in the comments what you would do or what you think of that idea. So, and then from there, the other things kind of holding us up is the master cylinder. I did fill with some fluid, and I looked on the inside of the car, and it is leaking out the back. So I need a new master cylinder. I soaked the lines with that PB Blaster. That's actually really good stuff. Hoping that those lines come off without an issue. So, and that's the other thing, is I want to get the brakes situated, make sure the lines are all solid and good before there's an engine and transmission in there. Because I'll tell you from experience, replacing that hard line that goes along the firewall or anything down on the little junction distribution block, trying to do any of that with an engine and transmission in the way, and especially if there's headers or any kind of exhaust in the way, it is a huge pain. So we kind of got to just back up a little bit and do a couple things in order. So next time we'll work on, you know, again, cleaning up the engine bay, which I still could do at any point in time, as well as tackling the floor and the brakes. And then next, after that, we will clean up the engine and transmission, figure out if we're going to do anything to it or if we're just going to leave it alone. And then we can work on getting it set in here. So definitely got to go through, order some parts, and unfortunately we're coming into a weekend and things are, you know, closed or, you know, not shipping till Monday. So likely, even if I ordered a bunch of parts on Monday, they won't be here till late next week at the early end. So we'll see how a couple of things go. Appreciate all the support on this. This has been really good. And then quick little side note, next couple videos, or video at least, we're going to be working on a 69 Roadrunner that we'd worked on and started on in the past. We're going to kind of revisit that project and get back into that. So hopefully you guys look forward to seeing that. But as far as the GTX, for right now, we are done with this. We're going to circle back around, get a bunch of videos on it done, and you guys will see that hopefully within the next week, 2 weeks. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.